Claro.
La luz de la imagen.
Okay?
Yeah.
There we go. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming instead of going to the local big thing. That's our presentation. Hola mundo, that means hello world. It's some kind of freaky thing.
Sí.
Or the subject is why should your Joomla-based extension or business speak Spanish? I think it's quite clear what we're going to talk about. So there we go. Why Spanish? Maybe to this? Take it up because we are into the Netherlands. It's a video I found on the internet. It's from 2009 and it has some data. Sorry, it's the other one. But we have no internet here, so some of the Spanish words. Well, the video is not mine. I just borrowed it from YouTube. But it says it has lots of data that we've been able to see ourselves in the not only in Joomla, in the whole internet, but there's something similar to this in Joomla, and we'll give you all those numbers. So we'll start checking first the Spanish language in the world. It's spoken by over 450 million. Second language of the world in native speakers, only behind Chinese. The third language of the world, including foreign speakers or second language speakers. That's interesting. Predictions say that by 2050, Spanish will surpass English and become the second spoken language in the world. It will surpass English not only as a native language, but worldwide. So it's quite far, 2050, but it's growing actually. That's one of the reasons. It's one of the like 14 million people study English worldwide. English, not Spanish, as of now. For example, in the US, you can see the evolution. That's German, French, and Spanish, and that's the number of students of each of them. So we're not interested at all in how Spanish works worldwide, but on the internet. So what's going on here? English is top language on the internet, followed by Chinese, but Spanish is third. Actually, there are 153.3 million Spanish internet users, which is a big market. You can see here some more detailed statistics. I think this one is really interesting. You see the penetration rate. It's really slow, really low. So, and it's at this moment it's growing this rate. So it's great opportunity. How do
Spanish penetration is the people that have internet?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Maybe you could go back. You see, North America, lots of people are on the internet, but 34 is really low, and there's at this moment it's growing really fast because infrastructures, telecommunications, and broadband connections are being deployed in those countries, in many of them, and it's growing at a great rate. About the Spanish users, internet users, worldwide internet users prefer contents in their own language. That's true for all languages. Maybe on the Nordic countries in Europe, Denmark and Norway, they're more bilingual, but in many of the others, you see that they prefer this color is native, non-English language. And you can see here that for Latin American, it's the same. They prefer actually Spanish. One of their main characteristics is that, for example, the use they make of the search engines. It's the biggest. In Latin America, they have the biggest searching rate, which, in terms of Google AdSense, for example, is very interesting. You see, Colombia, it's 75% higher than the world's average. So there are great opportunities for marketing there. That's the blogging, I think. Okay, go away. I forgot the time. Also, it's a very diversified market because you don't mainly think about Latin America because there's great market in Europe, 27 million. It's in Spain. It's very used. It has grown a lot, and as we'll see later, Joomla is very used in Spain. Latin America has over 100 million and growing. As we saw before, it's at 34% of internet population. Only the 34% has internet access, but not access. They access it on a, I think that statistics are for weekly access, at least once a week. And the third one is very interesting. It's the Hispanic US market, and I found another video with lots of data. Not mine either. But you see, there's people is perceiving the potential of the Hispanic market, Spanish actually, because it's not only Hispanic, not Latin American only. So let's go to the Joomla sphere. Let's see some numbers. We have at least 4 or 5 active bloggers, 2 of which are nominated with J. Oscars. Hope you voted for us. We're in Joomla. If not, well, doesn't matter. We are using a dedicated hashtag in Twitter, so there's lots of people in Twitter, and Joomla-related tweets are with this hashtag. You may know that Joomla hashtag is quite spammy. It's difficult to find nice information sometimes. We have at least one very active group professional group on LinkedIn, and I repeated that. I don't know why. Maybe because we are one of them. Here are some numbers about Joomla, Spanish Joomla top communities. The biggest one is joomlaspanish.org. You can see that it has more than 100,000 users, lots of posts, like you see, 167,000. But there are many. This is the biggest one, but there are many. You can see Yoruba Comunidad Joomla is the official translator community. In joomla.org, we could only see the number of posts. It's quite below other languages, but it's like 25,000. It's a good number. And well, you see, it's just for having data if you want to look in the slides later.
I want to remark that these numbers, not the user number, but the post numbers are from last month. Last month. You know, in one month?
No.
Yeah. No.
The totals. No, these are the totals. Not in 1 month. No.
Sorry.
No, it would be. No. Maybe I told you if they were, but
Yeah.
they're not. No. And since 2008, we're seeing lots of activity inside the community. We had the first Joomla Day in Spain in 2008. The next year, the second one. Last year, we had two. And in Latin America, this has been their year. They had the first Spanish Latin America Joomla Day in Chile. There have been one before in Brazil, I think. But this was the first one in Spanish. And from there are other events, like in Buenos Aires, in Argentina. Another event with sponsored by Microsoft, and I don't know, they did lots of things. And they're having Joomla cafes, Joomla night, and this year it's moving a lot. And they have also the first higher education Joomla course in the world. It's in Chile, Universidad de Chile. They started last year and they're repeating this year. It seems it's being quite successful.
And it's a public university. It's a main public university in Chile.
And I would have liked to stop a little bit more here, but there's no internet. So luckily I just made two captures. This is it's like Google Trends, it's Google Insights for Search. I'm sure a lot of you know. If you search Joomla, Drupal and WordPress worldwide, that's what you see. Nowadays, you see WordPress is over Joomla. But if you search, Español is the Spanish word for Spanish. If you make that search, you see that there's more interest in Joomla in Spanish than in the international one. I have made more searches, but thought would be able to search, to show them to you through the internet. But if you look, for example, for Joomla Spanish, Drupal Spanish, WordPress Spanish, the difference is even bigger. If you look, if you search Joomla, Drupal and WordPress, for example, in the US, the UK, or Japan or China, WordPress is really surpassing Joomla, but Argentina, Mexico, Chile, they're more or less like this, and there are countries like Colombia, Venezuela, which one? Ecuador, I think. Yeah, where the difference is even bigger. So in the world, the WordPress is growing fast, but in the Spanish-speaking countries, Joomla is over, and we don't have much content in Spanish. So imagine having content in Spanish. There's the interest, and everything must be done in English. So maybe in Spanish would be even better. Did you know this? I think it's the first time you need this.
Yeah.
It's pretty new. I think they did it like a week ago.
Yeah. It was on Twitter. I think it was a Wikipedia link. I didn't see this map, but
Well,
the Wikipedia link.
There's in the docs.joomla, there's a list of government sites using Joomla. They picked that list and created a Google Maps app that I was going to show you, but we don't have the internet. Here you have the link. You can see they grouped the pages of the government sites. This is done by the application. It takes all in this zoom, and for this zoom, it places a number. If you make zoom there, you'll see exactly where they are. But you can see that here in Argentina, Chile, here in Central America, or in Spain, you can see that there are lots of governmental government sites using Joomla. So, from a business point of view, you know the long tail. English is the best selling. English is the, I don't know, Dan Brown or something like this. But Spanish is not this far, but more or less in this zone. Second biggest potential market in the, I'm talking about Joomla now, fastly growing, currently exploding in the midst of lots of Joomla days, Joomla events. Everybody is doing Joomla. For example, in Spain, you can find more and more. And it's not as saturated as the English market. There are lots of things that haven't been done in the Spanish market that you can find in the English-speaking market. So, I think we will have time. That's the part that we're really interested in. Starting our discussion, well, we will first say about our experience, but what are the possibilities for extension sellers and Joomla businesses in general to avoid localization of the products? Because all this started with a blog from Brian Timan, where he said that it would be nice that he went to Joomla Chile, and he was really surprised for what he saw, and he started that discussion. In this case, we are talking about Spanish, but the solutions could be replicated in other languages. So here are the 4 possibilities we have thought of, but then we would like to know if you have other ideas or about how it could be done. First of all is the community-driven localization. That it's what most people do because it's inexpensive, and we have, especially Carlos, we have lots of experience with this. He'll start talking about that.
Yeah. Well, as you may know, I contribute with J Events by Jordan Edwards. Okay, and yeah, he is very. He thinks that everyone needs to use J Events in their languages. So he started a translation program, or more or less, and he asked me for being the translator coordinator. So I help this with this task. I help him with this task, and yeah, we are doing in the events the community-driven localization. That is essentially a model that most commercial extension developers use. That is, you translate my extension, I give you a subscription for my club as long as you maintain the translation. It's nice, it's cheap, you only have to give them the software you have already developed. It's really cool. The main problem I find as a coordinator, as a translation coordinator, is that there are extremely active translators. Well, in J Events we have more or less 15 languages. Okay, we deal with 15 translations of J Events and all the others. The main problem is that you have on one hand very active translators that submit the translations almost when you publish the key strings, but on the other hand you have translators, you have to be asking them, okay, did you finish? No, I have been very busy. They did not ask your reply, your messages. So it's really hard to deal with those translators. Of our 15 translators, we may have only 4 that are active. One of them is me, so it's only three translators that in a community-driven localization are working as they should be. You can ask them for a professional or you can ask them for a commitment in the dates because, well, they are doing this in a community basis, and well, that's the main problem I am experiencing as a translation coordinator of Kievan. So this is my point of view, community driven. It's very nice because the community creates the package and helps you on that. They receive the subscription. It's very cool, but sometimes the involvement of the translator is not as it should. That gives you you cannot provide the the languages as the truth. Another weakness of this point is that, okay, they do the translation, nothing else. You do not have proper support in the language. You do not have marketing in the language. You don't have that things. So I think today is a key point to have a marketing strategy, more or less. It's not, you don't need to have to hire someone to create marketing strategy for your market. You can have some basis, like some Twitter account for the localizing some language, some social media marketing, some other stuff, at least to provide a proper support in the native language of your users. Because regarding the Spanish market, one point I think Isidro has not mentioned is that Spanish users may know English, but usually a Spanish user do not know English. For them, English is like, I don't know, Chinese, Vietnamese or something like that. They don't know how to speak to that. It's like, well, you know, I can do that. So it's important for Spaniards for Spanish speakers to have the documentation in the language, the support in the language, and community localization does not give you that part of the whole business thing. You know, it's nice to involve some of your community members, but it's not a proper solution for a real market strategy that could help you to expand your product in other countries.
So that's what most extensions do, at least most that I know. I haven't found, I think that only Cunena, which is not commercial, and K2, which isn't commercial either, they are the only two which have a Spanish community with forums, and they provide support, and well, there's Spanish-speaking people involved there, but they're the only ones. The other options are, well, that's the typical one. You pay for, you have your website in English, you just find a translator, pay for the translations and duplicate that. It's okay, but I think it's for small companies it's too expensive, because professional translators charge you like 10 euro cents per word translated. So
here is 25.
25 here. Well, I have well, no. In Spain,
You want to move?
In Spain, people do it for as low as 3 cents. It's but well, you know, even that way, if you have a good documentation, it can be quite expensive, and to maintain it, you always have to look for the company. Well, it may do for some companies, but I don't think it's the optimal option at all. Another, even more expensive option is to hire a Spanish-speaking full-time collaborator. That's unless it helps you with the code, I think it's he does both things. It's too expensive. You can't afford, if you are a 1 or 2 person company, you can just put another salary only for the localization, for the translation. It would be more dedicated. You could have special content for Spanish speaking, the forums, support, but I think it's very difficult to afford. The idea that we have is yes, seeing the affiliate programs that many extensions have, it's to create some kind of premium affiliate that it's for example, if you give a 20% for each sale they do, create a special package, like, I don't know, it depends on the business, but a better one, like twice, for example, 40%, and these people will handle everything. You know, they don't code, they don't have a product, and you're giving them the opportunity to have a business, and just partner with them. It would be more like partnering. It would be having special dedicated content and dedicated support, and it costs companies nothing because it's a market that otherwise you wouldn't reach. If people don't read English, they will never know anything else, and they will pay for your product. Nicolas, the Paulus, told me that he ran a survey on Akiba, asking about if people found it interesting having support in Spanish, but in all languages, and he says that only 10% say that Spanish would be important for them. But the how do you say, the poll was in English, so people who doesn't read English will never answer me. So I think that, well, I'm not saying that everybody, that there's an incredible market of people wishing to pay millions for, but I'm sure that it's more than 10% of users, because actually they sell, he sells to Spanish-speaking people from Spanish-speaking countries, and I think it would be a great solution, not only for Spanish, it would make work in other languages, because it would be like sharing your business, and it has no invest cost, because you don't have to pay in advance for nothing, and it could do. It depends on what market you're talking. It will depend on, depending on the involvement of the person or the company that does this for you. There are different options, and we think that it would be it's worth trying, and we think we're going to do this just to try and see how it works. But we would like to know if you know about any other idea that we would do, because Spanish Joomla community is wishing to contribute and to be more involved in Joomla, but as he said, Spanish-speaking people, it's very eager to speak in English, to read English, to answer in English. The people that know enough, they only read, they will never answer in English. It's only a very few fraction that will do. So we are very interested in giving opportunities and to access to all the Joomla staff, because they are great things. So, well, that's our question. So,
What are the downsides?
sorry?
The downsides. You're talking about all the good sides.
Yeah.
But what are the problems?
With this option or with the Spanish market in
Just
general?
as I see it, from a business point of view, the community doesn't want to pay a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Most extensions are worth maybe 10 times what people are asking for them, because the community doesn't want to pay more than 50 euros, and 50 euros is a lot. Right? And then you want to have an affiliate program, where let's say 50% of the amount, which is 25 euros for one license, would go to the affiliate. Now you're going to need to sell quite a bit in order to make it commercially attractive, because we're talking about 25 euros before tax.
Yeah.
So
Geraint told me exactly the same, but that's what I say, that I think it's a good idea, and I think it's worth trying. I don't know, maybe it's crazy.
I'll talk to you about it. I want to try
Yeah,
it,
but I think
it's your risk.
you don't know, but I'm not talking only about me, but I mean, it's worth trying, because it would be a great method to make Joomla really international, because I think it's the most international of all CMS, open source CMSs, and if that was for profit for people, not only in Spanish, so it could be a way of expanding Joomla really internationally. You said it's, I agree with you that Geraint told me, but you must see that you don't have to code. Maintaining the code, creating the code, it's a lot of time, and the enterprises, the businesses do that, and also all the rest of the thing. They create content, create documentation, but if you put out the coding time, the coding costs, I think it could do, because the partners wouldn't have to code, only know as an advanced user for giving support. And I think that what you don't have in one hand, you get from the other. So I think it could be leveled from you don't have to code, but you have to work more, twice as.
The thing is, as long as the affiliate understands they're not going to get rich from selling somebody's product, because you're already selling it for a very small amount of money to the community. And many things are actually free.
Yeah.
Other things, the pro versions, they're not. Then people don't ask a lot of money for it. So when we're talking really about partners and investing in time and in translations and in service and support, it's fun to start with, but once you've answered the same question 50 to 100 times, you want to get paid for it. Because
in my case, you mean?
No, in general, if you provide support for an extension, it takes a lot of time. And in the beginning, you're enthusiastic. But after a while, it's the same question. You still have to smile and answer.
No, but once there are other considerations. For example, once if you are really involved, you make an investment translating the documentation and all the selling pages. I mean the FAQs. That only doing that, you are providing some support that won't require more time later. But there's a little trick, hope you won't tell anybody. Most of the support questions are answered in English. So that would make the support effort even lower for the localizer, because he would only have to translate, look in the official English support, and just move this to the Spanish or French or whatever. So it's actually we do that. We know that because we both moderate the Joomla.org forums, and in most cases we just have to see the question, make a search, and find the answer and translate it and say here you go. So it would be time, but less time than having to look for the specific. So there are those things I think that could level the effort, the time spent. So. I don't know. I think it hasn't been done before, and
sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to add that you said that we like free things, and I remember the history in 2007 we had the first event in Spain, and we were supposed to be like 10 people, and we made the announce, and it was the first Joomla event in the Spanish-speaking countries. So it came people from everywhere. And it came one guy that is from Scotland, and he says, this same event done in Scotland, at this moment, there will be 20 people. But you Spaniards, you love free things. So you're here, 200 people coming from everywhere, but you said that you need to invest to open to the Spanish market. But in my point of view, you are already in the Spanish market when you have an extension. I remember in the Joomla Day Chile, the Joomla give some free club license to. There was like a contest. People was crazy for getting one, but you know that these people, all the people knows about Joomla, about Rocking Team, but in the Spanish forums we don't allow questions regarding. Commercial template. So Joomla and Rocket they are selling in the Spanish market, but they are not giving support, and their customers they are not finding their solutions for what they're. So maybe your extension is already sold and it's working, but you are not giving the support that they need. So you need to invest to make your product happen.
No, definitely, I agree with what you're saying, and I do think it's very interesting. It's just a matter that when you do look at it from also a commercial point of view, you are not talking about a huge pot of money which you have to invest. I am an extension developer. We do have a commercial extension. I don't live from it. It's some extra incentive. The nice thing is that I also use it. It's partly a marketing tool, which is also an investment for your company. I get to build a website because people find me through the extension. But once I have to start using that money for other things also, if I pay 50% to an affiliate in Spain to support it there, it's even less than we get. So he has to, you can only split the amount of money that much way. So you have to have that understanding. If that's fine, it's perfect.
Yeah, can I just add something?
Yeah.
I agree. But I would say, and this goes to a point that you guys had an presentation before, and it goes also for Brazil with Portuguese, where if they're going to pay for the extension, they probably will hit up their site if they can speak enough English to go to the website and make a purchase. Yeah. Assuming they get that, they're still well off with their $50. Yeah. And they're safe. The rest of the guys, they just don't pay for it at all. So if you have a free version of it, they'll take that. The other guys, they might be willing to pay for something. But you want to, if you do have a partnership, and I'm not defending the 50%, but if you do have a partnership, you do have the ability to go get some of that money, but only the money you probably wouldn't have gotten anyway, which is what you guys had in the presentation. It allows you a window of opportunity into a market that usually you wouldn't even have a chance, other than for people who already speak English.
I completely agree. I think it's a great opportunity, and Joomla is something. It is a product of scale. You're talking about a lot of people and a lot of users.
It is definitely a good opportunity, because I have found that null versions of our extensions are available translated, but our own extension isn't. I found so many extensions out there which were nulled, on piracy sites, and they were translated. I have, Spanish versions of our chat product. There is an Italian version of our chat product, but I don't have those language files. You can download them for free. So if you have a partner like this, you also, kind of reduce the chance of things like this happening.
Yeah,
that was a revelation for us. They had documentation. They had a video of installing the extension. I think it was Italian. They had everything, none of which I have on my site. Half of those things I don't have it in English.
There are problems in this kind in the Spanish community. The Mexican community has a premium extension program that you pay $10, $5 a month, and you can download like 20 commercial top extensions that they pay for them and they resell them. It's GPL, it's legal, but it's completely unethical, at least. But these things happen. But my bet is that you lose some of these clients. You have to pay half to the affiliate for some customers that you would have any other way. But my bet is that the gain of customers localizing, especially in Spanish, it would be bigger than the small amount that you would, of course, lose. But many extension developers are saying that actually they're not getting paid from Spanish people, from Spanish-speaking people. Most say that's what I thought about this when I heard Nicolas say that, but I have no Spanish people buying my products. So I say, well, you lose very few, and if you get, if you have at this moment 10, and you start having 100, only because they understand what your product is about, but most times there's a problem with that. There are some extensions that it's very clear what they do and they don't need very much support, but the big extensions that are complex, many setup options, those are the ones that will benefit more from this. So of course there's a part of bet. I bet that there's market there. Let's see what happens. Anything else?
I think one other thing is when you become part of the Spanish people, is it you? Is it a group of people? Is it from Spain, or is it from Mexico and Spain and a Spanish translation?
I don't
team,
know.
or what would the money that comes in, is that for how you handle that? I think that's for a community itself is also
Yeah,
very
but
important.
in my case, I do most of these things at this moment for free, for community involvement. So in my case, I would actually gain a lot working alone. So, but I don't know if my bet is.
But that's also very important for the companies out there. That there is a kind of if you quit with it, what's after that? So is there a kind of team behind that? If you quit with it, somebody else will continue to work on it? And that's what I see as a big problem with all extensions, free and commercial.
Of course, but it's not the same, the commitment, if you do it for free as he had.
No, but for if you become more the commercial, it's even more important.
If I get ill, for example, I stop giving support. You mean? If it's only one person, or
it's the organization or what's the structure now? If you earn the money and or also for the company development.
I think it depends, because I was speaking to somebody else from Brazil, and I was actually talking about this with him. And in that case, I could decide to partner with him because I know he's reliable.
Yeah.
And in example, from the German case, that maybe you go with just one very vocal blogger in the German community. It depends, and it's not extremely cheap, because per country or per language you have to see what the options are. It's not that you can decide on premium affiliates and in every single language premium affiliates will work. But it's something we can try.
It might be cool to maybe start a translation community that gets paid as a whole and passes on its earnings to the people who translate, so that it addresses the concerns of the extension developers of having some kind of a backup.
It's not only about payment, but also what we know as a Dutch community at this moment is very difficult. Every extension has their own way of handling the translations. Are they sending you before they release it, and they give you a week time to do the translations, or there's so many different ways. So maybe it would be interesting to kind of find a way that's more standardized exactly for delivering the translation and get it back. And that will be, I think, also very helpful for many communities out there and the translations.
I'm not sure who was at that. I think it's Lightning Talk. Somebody was talking about
Robert
Robert.
company. I don't think we are speaking about translating the component only.
It's everything, I guess. It's the marketing.
Because you can translate the component, the user may use it, but the user may experience a lot of problems with the component. When you start a distribution partnership, you expect from your distributor some support for the users, for example. It depends on the agreement you get, but you expect some things. It's not about translating extensions. In the Spanish community, Spanish started a directory of translations some time ago. Remember?
Extensionbusiness.
No, it was inside the project. You could find some, I think it was in the forum, some kind of people trying to get a community of Spanish translator to translate, for example, the extensions and the stuff. That's not the big deal. The big deal is not translating the extension. That could be done in a community driven, more or less. You may have a lot of strings.
You get offers all the time.
But the main point is the marketing on that market.
Because
you now have, you see, 60% of the world market. With Joomla you can sell in Aruba. Here, it's not here in this session, but yesterday I met a guy from Aruba. I didn't know Aruba is 60. So it's about the marketing. It's about the support for your users. You don't have clients. You usually have
the
users.
marketing is very important next to the translation, but the translation is a big part of the marketing.
Yeah,
I know, for example, like Dutch users are looking for, is there a language file at the moment, yes or no, or actually another extension. So it's really a big part of the marketing, but it's more than just.
A lot of people, for example, I started in the translating extensions because I found that, for example, events was not translated. Joomla was not translated in Spanish. Okay, I started. I sent it to the developer because it was very young. Now, because I like to contribute to the community.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep doing that. Yesterday, last week, I got an email from an extension developer from Germany. I don't remember it. His extension was a plugin to add caption to the images. You put in the. It's a very small extension. You may not know it, but I sent him a translation last year, and now he contacted me to keep on the work. Okay, I'll do it. It's not a big deal. Translating the extension could be done in a community-driven basis. But the marketing, I think it's very important, and the support. You can't imagine how many users we got in the Joomla.org forum, in the Spanish section, asking for support of commercial extension. And we told them, okay, it's a commercial extension. Use the services you have paid for. I don't, yeah, I will use it, but I don't know English.
What you're saying is something else that's written there, and that's the correct way. It's a distribution partner.
Yeah, it's a distribution.
Different than premium affiliate. In my eyes, of course, it's interpretation.
I guess it would be the same thing, it's just a different way to pay them.
Yeah, it's like a Lego. It can be done depending on your preferences, because I know developers who would prefer to have control over everything. They want, okay, you translate that for me, I pay a percentage, but all this content is on my site, I control it, and so it's not, in this case, the business, the developer has to do more work. He has to maintain 2 versions of his website, and it depends. If you prefer that, it's okay. Probably you will pay less because your partner will have to work less. But on the other hand, you can say, well, look, I don't want to know anything about Spanish people, so I'll give you an 80% of anything that you solve in Spanish, but you just do everything. You put your site, pay your server, do the marketing, find people in Facebook, in Twitter, or anywhere that do everything. And I only want my 20% of every sale you do. So there are different possibilities depending on everybody. So
the thing is, it's the continuity, the trust, because we are working with open source software. We're not checking anything, you know. So it is something that you need. You don't just want to build that up with somebody you meet on the internet who says, yeah, I can do it for free, and she'll also start selling it for you. So
you probably have to check if you're selecting an employee background check.
Yeah, you want to know
what's
who
they
you're
contribute, how are they contributing now, what's their work, are they blogging, etc.
You want the feedback, you want the interaction, because you then build a community which is valuable information, and you want to get that information back in the development process.
yeah,
It's more partnership.
yeah, but it depends on. I mean, if this could start being done commercially by people, by translators, more not only involved, but professional people will start getting inside there, because the problem now in most cases is that many translations are terrible. In fact, I translated Sobi Pro because I had to use it. Well, thanks. You're welcome. They replied with a silver club membership, so I'm so pleased. But the thing is, I needed it for a project, and I saw, oh, great, there's a Spanish translation, and I installed it, and I said, this is not my language. I had to redo completely it, and as Sobi Pro is GPL and free, every time I translate anything which is GPL and free, I give the translation. I just send to the developer, because it's, I don't know, my way of collaborating. But for example, Freak It Out, do you know the Alexis? Joomla mailer. They contacted me to say, look, we have some translations to do, we have some extensions, and I said, well, if I can, I saw that some of them were commercial, and I say, I don't translate commercial extensions, but I mean, that's not what I do. I translate, and I said, but if you want me to translate it, we can get to an arrangement, and I do it, and the GPL free ones, I translate them for free. I'm not interested in, so there are different possibilities, I think. Well,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.